Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here, and we got a list of how many homes? I think like 17 homes today, and I'll walk you through everything that I can see that maybe isn't readily apparent in the listing. If you just joined us on Daily Homes, that's what we do is we add some interpretation to the raw information. And so we're going to start off today with 654 Frank Place. It's a Spring Valley is the old name. The new name is a Woodbine, about 1350 square feet. And you can see it's almost at the end. There's a small area on the main floor that you could use as an office, as a second family room. It's a little bit colder on this level, and then you've got your entrance to the garage, and then you also have your furnace and your mechanicals. Halfway up the stairs is the washer dryer, and then the main floor, the second floor really is all open concept. You get a good view of it here, kitchen overlooking the dining room plus a family room. It's a nice space. This model comes in a 2 or 3 bedrooms, so this one is actually a 3 bedroom. It's probably appropriate for like an office. You can fit a queen size bed in these rooms, in the second and third rooms, but they're not especially huge. I think they're about 8 feet wide. But what do you expect for 1350 square feet? And then that's what you see off your balcony. So there's some train tracks just over on this side, and then there's a park close by. Nice if you've got a dog, because a lot of people think if they have a dog, I need a yard, but if you've got that area there, it might be just as good. So $334,900 is a very competitive price for this home. I think they're going to do quite well. Not a ton of upgrades, but I still think that that's a fair price for the home. And so we've started to see that some of these listings are way out, and like $399 is one. There's no way they're going to get it. This is a good price for that home. Hampshire Way number 29 is $359. This is basically the exact same size. I love how these are back to back because it's a straight comparison. 25,000 higher, obviously more upgraded inside. It's newer, but I just can't see a buyer paying this plus another $60 a month in fees. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's not equivalent. Even an upgraded version of the one on Frank Place is going to sell for, like, I mean, $350. These guys I just don't think are in line with what the market's going to take. That being said, there are people that chase the new properties, and so it'd be interesting to see that there hasn't been anything sold in Hampshire yet, and so the first one can really set the bar plus or minus. I just don't think it's there. Centennial Forest is $414,900. It's in an area called Drury Park, and so Centennial Forest, it's a little hidden away area that a lot of people don't know about. Great for retired. I would say the 50-plus crowd really likes it here. Predominantly one-story living bungalows, small, not on huge lots, but big enough that you can have a garden and so on. It's in this area here. So Poplar, Ledwith, Malik, Centennial Forest, this little pocket right here. And then there's also a set of condo buildings close by as well. They're just over on the south part right here. So anyways, if you have a look at the street here, you can see these are what the properties look like. They almost look like a little subdivision in Florida, and like I said, there's it's a nice amount of space for someone who's downsized. $414,900. I think it's a tremendous value. There's a little porch out here. You've got a single car garage. The home itself is not huge. There's a living area with a small kitchen that could probably use a bit of updating, but it's like just over $400,000, I think. And you've got a finished basement downstairs. You've got a separate little bedroom down in the basement too. So for guests, it can be an ideal space. And there's your backyard there. It's 37 by 92. Really nice place. There's another one for sale. There's 2 for sale right now in that area, and I think they're both right within the normal range for what they do sell for. Malbouf, the bad beef, is at $419. There's no pictures. It's a townhouse. It doesn't give us a sense of the size. I'm going to stop trying to figure out why people are paying $420 for townhouses. It is what it is. I don't know if that's the true value. I don't have a sense on the size of that one. McDougall is $439.5. It's 1987 square foot. And it actually, I think, is better value than the one on Scott. You've got some hardwood floors here. Nice photos. I mean, they sort of went, they said, okay, this backsplash is so nice, we're just going to carry it right through. But I think it's nice with the clock up there. I think it has a nice impression overall. I mean, they even did some tiles right on the wall here, so it's almost like they got a little carried away. But the photos do look nice. It's 4 bedrooms plus a laundry upstairs. And yeah, that's not a bad price. They do sell for that, and it's a nice floor plan. A lot of times with the Southburys is they do feel like they're more detached. Not a huge family room though, because you've got the living, dining, family, and kitchen. You split off some of your size between those rooms. Armstrong is a Wyndham corner, so it's about 1850 square feet or so. It sides directly onto Derry, and Armstrong is really the feeder street north into the entire subdivision, so it's busy in terms of car traffic, noise. What they do have as an advantage is they've got a much larger yard, and we'll show you a picture of that. Think about this shot with and without the drum set. I would have said, my advice to them would have been take it down to the basement for the sale of the house. They've got some crown moldings here. The kitchen's not a huge kitchen. You don't find that it's tough to have two people work in this kitchen. Stuff off the side of the fridge, again, is a good thing to do just to simplify things for the listing. In person, that doesn't matter too much, but in the photos, it can have an impact. And there you go. So overall, I would say that this is the normal price for this home on a normal street. Now, the plus minus is the busy street, but the larger lot. So somebody who's willing to live with that, I think, is going to be happy. And you've got a hot tub, and it looks like maybe a little rubber ducky or a little thermometer is kind of floating in there. But anyways, I think that's a fair price. It's a relist. It's been listed for a little while. Sometimes it can take the right kind of buyer to just go and be interested. So Megson is a little bit, it's by the hospital. It's in the new subdivision. It's probably a North Star home, and they've actually got a nice floor plan. A lot of times you've got the 9-foot ceilings here. The builder's finished about 460 square feet in the basement. I disagree with them stating the 2220 square feet, although I do like the way that in full disclosure they said how much is in the basement. And I would say overall these are pretty nice homes. I mean, eventually you got to look and say, is that price equivalent with what the market will give you? Higginbotham is $545. Some really nice double car garage homes in this list. Very, very high quality stuff. This one on Higginbotham, Mattamy Plan 6, one of my personal favorite plans. You've got a family room plus a dining room. You've got a small nook for an office on the main floor. Kitchen, you've got a closet. This model does come in an elevation where you can actually get the separate entrance off the side straight down to the basement. Pot lights, looks like upgraded counters with an undermounted sink. You've got upgraded light fixtures. $545 is definitely an impressive price for this home. Big family room on the second floor. I like the addition of the pot lights here. You've got 4 bedrooms plus a laundry upstairs, and it's just all configured really well. That's the main floor office, and potentially they've even built in some cabinets there too. Very, very nice home. Great price. This is definitely one of my favorite picks, I would say, the last couple weeks. Randall Crescent is $559. It is a single car garage, if you can see through there, and it's got a finished basement. It's had some great work done. The only thing that I would caution you is that it backs onto Thompson, so that's a concern, I would think, for in terms of noise and traffic. But I have no complaints for how the house looks inside. It would definitely be on the high side for what a single garage sells anywhere. And the lot is good at 61 by about 120. So no complaints on the look of this one. Location, and I think the price for the single garage are the issues. Jarrett Crossing is about 2,800 square feet. It's a Livingston model. It's got the high ceilings in the family room, and I'm not sure if that's a normal counter or if it's been upgraded. Hard to tell, but it is a great floor plan. On the main floor, there's a room off of the eat and breakfast area that can serve as like a little homework area for the kids, a hobby room. It can come in really handy, and yeah, I would say that this, I mean, even like an unmade bed, or I don't know what's going on there. Photos aren't showing this one off to its best capability, but I think the house itself is pretty good value. An upgraded, really sort of high-end version of this might sell for $630 to $650 kind of thing. So they are in the right price range. Being under $6 for this size of home, I think, is going to serve them well. Tupper is at $599, and so it's hard to get a grasp on the space here. I mean, typically the fireplace is in the family room, so they might have reconfigured the way the rooms are set up. And so there's your kitchen. Yeah, so you can see how it all relates. As there's a fireplace here. It looks like this is basically the entire main level is that you've got your kitchen opening up to these areas. So it's not tremendously huge. You got your bedrooms upstairs. It's been very well upgraded, but it's not big. Like, it's kitchen plus kind of a combined living dining room and 3 bedrooms upstairs. So you're paying for quality versus paying for size by far. Similar sized home on Sprout, I thought, that had great upgrades, 9-foot ceilings. Was recently listed for $500,000, sold for around that. That's a big price difference when we're talking about $599. So Quinlan is $659, and so we're dealing with a home that it says is between 2,500 and 3,000 square feet. You've got some green space behind. You've got a lot of upgrades inside. Beautiful looking house. Well staged, well designed. You've got some built-in appliances in the kitchen. I think this one's going to do well. This is model home showing. When your laundry room looks like that, generally you can assume that the home is really kicking. And so anything in this size category, 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, with the green space plus the looks here at $659 is very, very nice. Wrigglesworth is $679. And so we've got a home that I think doesn't show as well as some of its competition here, but it does have the advantage of having the finished basement with a kitchen already set up. I think there's a very specific niche audience for this, and you've got the green space behind just as a little topper up on value too. 48 by 93 foot property is a nice size, and basically 5 washrooms in this house. So you've got 3 full bathrooms upstairs and in that basement and so on. It's all set up really well, and I like that one. It's a little different than some of these other ones, but I think it fills a nice little void. Swindale, I've been in this home. It is a lovely home, $680. It's about around 2,800 square feet or so, 29, something like that. Lots of upgrades. I mean, the front entrance, I think, that's a great impressive look, and they've carried that look forward into the family room as well. The hardwood floors. There's a lot of small upgrades on this one. That California shutter, that's a custom built shutter, and it's not cheap, and it looks great. And so you've got countertops, backsplash, everything set up in this kitchen really well. Lots of pot lights all throughout the second floor. Feedback would be is maybe to upgrade that old light fixture that you've seen for the last 40 years, but that's not a big deal. I think that in the big picture, it's not as important. So $680 is actually a really nice price for this home. Pine Street is $710. We haven't seen a real humdinger in the old section in a little while. I mean, besides the one that we've got over on James Street, 41james.com if you're curious. So this one here, it doesn't look like it has a garage. 66 by 124 foot property. Lots of original charm in here. Got a drop ceiling in the kitchen, and you've got lots of counter space, or lots of cabinet space, pardon me. Original, that's like a gumwood trim. It's very, very nice inside, and there's your backyard as well. I don't think that's a garage, probably just a shed. And 710, we saw some stuff selling at the end of last year for high sixes that was pretty good. It'd be interesting to see what these guys have done. These cedars are probably going to grow in pretty quick in the next 5 years or so. And so we'll see what happens. I don't think it screams out as a massive deal, but I do think that there's not a lot for sale, and they are nice properties. Jelinek is 729.8, about 3,200 square feet. And it's nicely upgraded. It's probably a little bit on the high side of what I'd consider fair for this home, but it's not tremendously off base. It's leaving a little room for negotiating, I think, in my opinion. And we've got this one on Trafalgar. Here's the last one, listing number 17 for this list, and it's on 5.8 acres. The house needs some work. I mean, you've got a 4-car garage here, but it's kind of like siding. You look inside, the kitchen's a little bit more old-fashioned. So it's really, you're going to have to spend probably $2 million on this home to get it where you want it to be. There are homes in this area that sell for even more than $2 million. So it's a pretty big home, but it needs some work. And the thing about $1.6 million, I was explaining this yesterday to someone, is that when the rules changed in July of 2012 for financing $1 million home buyer used to be able to buy a home with 5% down. Now they need 20% or more, and a lot of lenders are starting to tighten up the further you go up into the millions. So you really need to be, it's almost 5 times as hard to buy a home for 1.5 as it is to buy a home for 1 million. The qualification is much more stringent. You've got to have a lot more down payment, and it can be tricky. You've got to almost really look at all your options for lending, not just going to one institution. So that's the list for today. If you have any questions, give us a call. We're glad to help you. And the buyer class is coming up next Wednesday at 7 p.m. So it'll be a great chance to learn more about the buying process. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.